All right. Welcome to another edition of Vegas Badboyz of Podcasting. I am DJ Impact, and I have with me Cincy Steve and Matt Michaels with us tonight as we have Simon Street out, take care of some personal issues. So thank everyone for hanging out with us. We got three good topics for this show, and we're going to get right into it. For our first count, this is from sportswiki.com, and it is titled The Update on WWE NXT possibly bringing a second weekly TV show. Now, we got to start from the beginning where we had the Wrestling Observer newsletter how reported the partnership between WWE and MLW that could happen. And it could happen for two reasons. Part of the reasons that we're saying is that they wanted to alleviate the frustrations of so many guys on the roster who don't get to wrestle. And WWE realizes that they have some unhappy and bored NXT talent. Now so this would allow them to be able to have this vehicle if they choose to do this collaboration. Another reason why is that WWE don't like the rep that they don't work with other companies in the pro wrestling world. So those are the two reasons why that they were going to do this. Now I will tell you with MLW, they just started doing television on Vice TV. Now, lucky me, I have DirecTV, and the DirecTV seems to have every network, every channel that's why when wrestling comes up, it's like, oh, I got it. So I found Vice on there, and actually, I don't know why I never paid attention to it, because that's where they run all of the wrestling documentaries.
Dark Side of the Ring.
Yeah, but I never watched them, to be completely honest with you. But I've already went to my DVR to set for MLW. I didn't watch this past week, which was the first show, but going forward I will. So they have that now, that they at least have some television on. But this seems to be some big news if this all goes down. I want to know what you guys take on this. You hear the reasons. We already know that the other companies have been collaborating. I guess if you have the big company not collaborating, I guess it could be looked at as, well, why can we and they don't? They have a bad reputation of wanting to work with others, But, and even if that is something you can laugh at it as something that could be true or not, the idea of getting some of your other talent some time, I do see that could be something that could work. So what do you guys think? I'll start with you, Cincinnati Steve. Do you think this could be something that could work if it all comes together with MLW and NXT?
Without a doubt, man. I think that as you had mentioned, there are tons of people on the roster that are not being showcased. Not even showcased properly, but showcased at all. So right. I think that, this will allow some of those people to go and work via talent exchange with MLW and appear on some of their programming. And let's be real. There are a couple of people on the MLW roster that I would love to see in NXT. Hammerstone. But yeah, sign me up, dude. I would love to see Hammerstone in an NXT ring for sure. Dude's awesome.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And Matt Michaels, it says creating their own Evolve-like group, which is as a weekly streaming show. This could be something that could work. Apparently, outside of the NXT show that come on, there's it looked like they have already sort of did a testing of filmed a pilot episode for this particular new concept. And again, if this would be something that they would do, it would probably be something that would be seen on Peacock as something that that would be something great. You know, adding another show to that. So, what do you think about this? If this all comes together, does this seem like it would be something that would be very successful for both companies to be involved in?
Well, so I think a lot of this is wrestling snobs kind of putting it out there, where my feeling is this.
Mm-hmm.
WWE is your pinnacle. So why do we need a talent exchange when, if Hammerstone is courted by the WWE and his contract comes up, he signs with the WWE, for instance? You know,
he just in speaking about Hammerstone, he just re-signed a multi-year deal to stay with MLW, though.
Right, and I'm just using that example. But
Sure,
what
sure.
I'm saying, my point being that if the WWE wants certain talents, they'll get the talent.
Yeah,
So it's plain simple.
mm-hmm.
I think this is kind of a convoluted report, because an MLW exchange is one thing. And yes, they might see some NLW talent going over, but they have to create their own new show for it to be possible.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to see Hammerstone show up in NXT, because why the fuck? Why would he have any other reason than to sign with the company if he can stay with MLW for 3 years and, you know, show up on NXT whenever they need him? Plus, if he shows up on NXT and he's under contract to MLW, do you think he's going to get the type of wins and the character buildup? He's not. So they need to start their own, you know, basically, you need to start an independent wrestling company for your minor league wrestling company that is doing your feeding to your 2 major wrestling shows.
Oh,
what
boy.
the fuck? You know, you also have NXT UK on top of that.
Right.
And they have evolved basically too.
Yeah.
So listen, start a program, or what you can do is filter out those talents to places like MLW, Evolve, look at, you know, other organizations, Ohio Valley maybe, FSW, maybe even something as, you know, like a GCW, anything that you can mine out particular folks to, and they can stay with that company for the in-ring experience on a regular basis. The laziness, essentially, or the convenience of a working relationship with MLW is the fact that they're both in Florida. So you don't really have to, you know, you can just call and say, hey, you know, come on down to the facility, we need to tape something. But it would be kind of nice if they started a new program to actually do it in a non-WWE type environment. Do it in a fucking, I've always thought Shotgun Saturday Night was the greatest concept for wrestling. In a bar, and, you know, it's very reminiscent. Obviously, a lot of independent places have done that type of thing. But just don't give it a WWE feel. Don't give it the polish. Make it feel like, you know, they did with ECW. Nothing changed in ECW for them sending talent over there. So if you can do that and, you know, create a program that feels like it's something else, honestly, at this point, just create a new fucking company and put, you know, one of your NXT producers in charge of that company. And, you know, basically don't have it really, other than the input of someone like Hunter and Sean, those guys who are, you know, keeping tabs on the guys. but put out what you want goal wise and getting these guys ready, and start your own indie promotion to become something. But
so are you agreeing then that if they are creating this sort of fourth show that would just be a streaming show onto Peacock, that would be that would be the way to do it for this to work, as what is reported here? Do you think that would then make this?
Well, see, I think that there's something. See, so there's the difference here is that we're talking about almost two different things. MLW has their show on Vice TV, like you said.
Right, correct. Yeah.
So anyone who goes to MLW, it would be a talent exchange. But if it's talent exchange and you're putting those MLW guys on NXT, those guys are going to be fucking jobbed out. So you need to have that streaming only show that is bare bones, and it's not to push guys that aren't getting a push in NXT, because that's where I thought this article went wrong, is that it made it seem like, oh, then guys who are bored or blah blah blah, not getting their push or blah blah. No, it's greenhorns getting a chance to fucking develop. NXT was supposed to be that, and because it morphed out of the development into an actual national product, you need to come up with an actual, essentially what was Florida Championship Wrestling before it became NXT. So go back to having your OVW, Florida Championship Wrestling, Mid-South, whatever the fuck you want to, equivalent it to, so that those guys who came over from MLW could actually get a working chance, so that you're not taking away their rub, and only giving the rub to your guys who are going on to their show. So that's my take. I don't know, man. Listen, if they can produce it and it costs very, very little money, they got no reason. I find it interesting that they even have to film a pilot to present to Peacock.
Yeah.
Which says a lot. So.
Yeah, looking at the chat here, I see Chris said that Paul Heyman would be the perfect person to lead that concept. Possibly, but I think Paul Heyman likes what he's doing right now, because it's easy and he can do it well.
So, and my only caution on using a guy like Paul Heyman or anyone who has that prior notoriety experience is that the people who are progressive thinking are those people who are not necessarily big names right now. So give the shot to someone who's younger, hungry, and actually on a cheap budget will make sure that they're doing what's asked, but also is doing what Paul Heyman did with ECW, and that is just putting every fucking sweat, blood, tears into it to make it something that is totally fucking special to the situation. And you know what will happen? It will get so popular that they'll need another feeder to facilitate that feeder to facilitate NXT, because they have all that talent. So no reason to not create showcase shows. Go for it. Yeah. But it's not going to be, don't do it to make it a rival, anything to rival anything else. Make it because you need to get these guys experience.
One thing that I just have to throw out too really quick before we shift gears. I think that a lot of people are actually not connecting the dots. This move of having a talent exchange or, a working relationship or whatever between WWE and MLW. Keep in mind, the CEO and owner of MLW is Court Bauer, who is a long time or was a long time member of the WWE creative team. So he worked for WWE for many years behind the scenes. So I think that, once you factor that in, this makes perfect sense. And it's an absolutely optimal relationship, in my opinion.
Okay. Good point. All right. Well, thank y'all much on that. That was our first count. Let's jump over into our second. And this one is from the Sportster.com. NHL is AEW's new competition, and that's a good thing. Can't wait to get Sin City. Sin City he's shaking his head yes, and Matt Michaels over here shaking his head no. I love it. All right, so let's talk about this, right? So apparently, the NHL and Turner Sports secured a lucrative television deal to bring some hockey on to TBS and TNT. So although this has happened, the question is now just being, I guess, thrown out there is where possibly can this programming get put? We already know that the NBA usually has Tuesdays and Thursday nights on TNT. You don't want to do nothing on Monday nights because during that time you have Monday Night Football, not to also know that you got Raw going on that night, but mostly it's about Monday Night Football. Fridays, I guess that's supposed to be like the worst day to really ever put on any TV programming. So in many ways, it's looking like it could possibly be Wednesday. But if it's that now conflicts with AEW. So AEW is going to be trying to do everything, I guess, to show why their show needs to be the one to stay on and not get bumped by the NHL. And supposedly that's the reason why, according to the writer here, that, AEW in many ways has been getting better, in terms of what they've been putting on TV. He mentions the fact that you have the Pinnacle and the Inner Circle. It's a massive pay-per-view quality that's going to run on Dynamite. You're also getting what we talked about over in on Wrestling Talk. You get the Moxley will get his request for the IWGP Heavyweight Championship match against Yuji Nagata. So they're trying to put this programming on again, grab the numbers, show their value. But the bottom line is, at any point, is it going to be enough? And if not, what is AEW going to do? So let's just get right into it. Sin City Steve, I know you read all of this. It's very interesting. What's your take reading this? I mean, what do you think could happen? Good scenario, bad scenario, worst case scenario? I mean, what do you think?
Well, I mean, ultimately, the thing that we have to keep in mind is that already into this contract, this TV rights deal, AEW has been preempted and had to shift their start time and their run time on several different occasions already because of pro sports. Mm-hmm. So I think that realistically, at the end of the day, this isn't anything to worry about. They have gone through and they've put their show on at 10 p.m. on a Friday night, for instance, or, whatever it was. And to be honest, if you look at the ratings, and I know ratings don't matter, whatever, but realistically, even with very, very little notice, their fans traveled extremely well. So whatever night AEW is on, they're going to get viewers because you're going to have a fan base that's going to be passionate because they're wanting to turn on their TV and they're wanting to watch AEW. Unlike on certain other programs where it's just a habit. Oh, well, it's Monday. Let me turn on wrestling, that kind of a thing. So I think that we're starting to see that fans are, following programs. Do
you think that would still be the case if they ran up against, let's say they want to go on Friday nights and they went up against SmackDown? With that,
they're not going to go against SmackDown.
Yeah. Okay.
They wouldn't go against SmackDown. Realistically speaking, they've already mentioned that in later on this NBA season, they are going to be moving I believe it's the Go Home show and the Fallout show from Double or Nothing. Those shows will actually be running on Friday nights at 10 p.m. So they are shifting those 2 episodes of Dynamite because of NBA playoffs, I believe it is, to Friday nights, but they're not going to be going on at 8. They're going to be going on at 10 right after SmackDown ends, which I think is very smart on their part. If nothing else, use SmackDown as a bit of a lead in. You've already got the wrestling fans watching wrestling. Why not have their show pick right up at 10 o'clock? And to be honest, we've long discussed, a second block of AEW programming. It wouldn't surprise me if they put that other block of programming right there, 10 o'clock on a Friday night.
So instead of 2 hours of wrestling, I got to watch 4 hours when I can barely get through the 2.
Yeah. Sorry about your luck.
Let me jump over here to Matt Michaels.
Now you know how I feel for 3 hours of Raw.
I got you. All right. So what do you think about this, Michaels? What's the chances of NHL going, hey, we want that Wednesday night, and TNT say it's yours?
I don't think the NHL has to say anything, right? Games are scheduled. So let's face it. Throughout a season, games are scheduled every single day of the week. All right. So it's, it's really not the NHL saying, it's TNT going, okay, number one commitment is basketball. So you're going to have Tuesdays and Thursdays done. It's basketball. So now you have to look at it, and NHL does have a lot of Saturday games. So you can do Saturday programming with the NHL. You can also do Sunday programming with the NHL if you want. This is also giving it a general view. This guy who wrote this, what he was trying to do was basically say that it's time for the AEW to be moved to start a war again.
Now, right. Now, I will say in the article, he does say, and I let me be fair, he says first, there's no guarantee there will actually be a conflict. So he does say that, that is first. But second, if there is, and then he goes into this long diatribe of what. So we're, I guess, playing on the idea that of if there is. All right.
Well, here's the thing, though. This is one thing that he totally fucking missed, which I think is showing that he's kind of an idiot.
Oh my God.
No, it's true, because they have the NHL coming. They have the NBA. What do the NHL and NBA have at the same time? Their playoffs. Every single day of the fucking week will either be NBA or NHL. So therefore, your window is going to be this in terms of, they can move to Monday nights. Well, okay, they probably won't do it because football is on Monday nights. So why would you do that? But you might have to move it to Monday nights because that might just be a brief time period where it just happens the second or third round of the NBA playoffs and the NHL playoffs. They just have both of them have a Monday off, but it's going to be cycling. Basically, if you're carrying the playoff packages, you're going to have a trouble finding any days for 2 months that are going to be like regular. So AEW is going to have to play, move around. There's no doubt.
Now, is that good for them to be moved around?
All right. So Steve had touched on the fan base. All right. You're not going to lose your majority fan base. So let's say that's 500,000. All right. Who will tune into it no matter what. Okay. So if it's on a Thursday, a Tuesday, a Wednesday, whatever, those people are going to tune in. Now, having, like Steve said, a regularity is going to cause viewership to potentially stay higher because that A, you just tune in on Wednesdays, they're there. B, even more so, DVRs don't I don't like the trustability of DVRs when a program moves around. So
Right.
they might
Yeah.
potentially lose viewerships just because, their DVR
Yeah.
on whatever cable system didn't record it.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think that if you really want to do something unique, take over Saturdays for that period of 2 months or whatever.
Yeah.
Just take over Saturdays. Your viewership is not going to increase by much, if any, but it's not going to decrease that much because you can have a set time frame. People will know there's nothing going on against it unless Impact or Ring of Honor or AEW itself has a pay-per-view on a Saturday night.
Right.
So this is a lot of speculation and trying to drum up this idea that, oh, well, since NXT just moved, there's a potential of them having a war again. And it's like, well, they won't have that war because Tuesday's NBA. But during other parts of the year, see, that's the thing. NBA and NHL run at the same fucking time. So you're going to have 5 months of the year where you have your Wednesdays intact. You just got to find how to work around the other things. We won't know until they start doing it. And Lord knows how many actual NHL games they're going to, end up showing on TNT. Honest gut feeling, the NHL fucked themselves by signing to a network that is traditionally a Southern-based network, not a hotbed for hockey. So
yeah, I was talking to one of my sources, and what they were telling me, because I didn't know this. Apparently, I guess it was thought that the NHL was going to have this deal with NBC,
right?
And this was the reason why the move happened with NXT over into Tuesday.
Yep.
So I guess being that this now didn't happen, I guess what? I mean, I guess if I doubt it happened, but if NXT wanted to, I guess they can go back to Wednesday if they want now, right? Now there's not going to be any conflict. But
that's now you just brought up another factor,
mm-hmm.
and that is all based on USA and what they feel their scheduling needs.
Mm-hmm.
And so if they're comfortable with keeping it on Tuesday, then you have Mondays and Tuesdays where you're getting a wrestling bump, but the rest of the week is their regular programming. So isn't it fun to just all of a sudden become programming directors and
add that to the list?
Yeah. So, and in the end, you just said a big keyword too. It's the Peacock, factor too. WWE really, again, it's not that ratings don't matter. It's just that if the WWE fans want to see NXT, they can turn on Peacock the day after it airs. Mm-hmm. So, again, the competition idea is kind of goofy because it's there for people who are paying for it. And now you're getting the Peacock content as well. So that's a little extra. And, what it comes down to is just AEW. Again, Turner actually has money invested in AEW as well because they're doing production costs.
Right.
So, in some ways, again, the person who brought AEW to TNT and got that extension in was canned.
Oh, yeah.
So will AEW survive through this contract to then either negotiate the next one or jump to another network that won't put sports like NBA and NHL as their priority? So in the end, we actually might see, wouldn't this be fucking crazy if the relationship with WWE and NBC Universal, because of Peacock and because of USA, when the Fox deal runs out, which will roughly be around the same time that AEW will be running out, they go to NBC, and then AEW goes to Fox.
Oh my Lord.
Yeah, it's just a bunch of crazy fucking speculation at this point. And until we, see, that's why guys get paid big bucks at these fucking networks. And that's why the guys who get paid the big bucks get fired a lot.
Sensei, did you want to add anything to that, man?
I was just going to say, I mean, ultimately, it comes down to not just ratings, but also demographics. Both numbers have taken a huge jump since NXT moved over to Tuesday.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty safe to say that if numbers and trends hold the way that they have been, that they will not be moving off of Tuesday. We'll just put it out there and just leave it that.
Has the programming that they've been doing that he announced putting on, the Pinnacle and Inner Circle, he's being these huge pay-per-view events on TV, and of course with Moxley, are those, is it just by chance that's happening because they're trying to show, put their foot in the position to say we should stay where we at, or that's just happen to just be, I guess, just happen to be good booking?
There are no such things as coincidences.
Okay.
And what's even worse about that is if you are booking that to that specific to show, that, hey, we should have this date and this time slot. What the fuck are you doing in terms of you are giving away this match? I find it even stupider to think if that's the reasoning, then you're fucking insane and you are going to go out of business. That should be your fucking pay-per-view.
Right.
What the fuck? And the problem is if you're just trying to grow your television, then why even do pay-per-views?
I think that one thing that really kind of mystifies me is, okay, they're gearing up for this crazy show on, of all days, Cinco de Mayo, which is not a very good day for ratings on TV. People are out at bars getting fucking shithoused. I mean, come on, man. Like, no one's home watching TV. So I guess maybe they're doing it to try to preserve whatever of a rating that they can, of whatever demographic pool that they can. But dude,
and we have to note the numbers this week, and since that first week, which was week 1, they did over 1 million plus. Week 2, they did just above 1 million plus. Now they're back under 1 million this past week.
Yeah.
So this booking better fucking pay off. But Steve is 100% correct that you chose Cinco de Mayo instead of just letting that fucking day tank.
Yeah.
And then the next week doing it. So I don't know. Sometimes people are fucking thinking, I don't know. And it begs the question of, between the network itself, the programming, then directors of the network, the people that are in charge of watching over AEW's product for the network, Tony Khan himself, the creative team on AEW, and are these guys on the same page, or are these just 5 different thoughts that just keep kind of going this way and then that way and then this way? If they, the one thing you got to say about Vince is, even though people are, can fucking just give him a lot of shit for a lot of stuff, the buck stops with Vince McMahon, period.
Yeah.
And the only thing that Vince has to fear is a fucking dog show.
That's right.
Yep.
That's it.
Yeah.
40 years of programming. The only thing that Vince had to bow to was a goddamn dog show. And that's it.
I used to hate those too. But you're right.
That and fucking tennis.
Yeah.
Which they had for a while, and then USA got rid of that.
Yeah.
shit,
Then
so.
USA was just like, fuck it. Yeah. We're done with that.
I think
No,
USA, they finally. No,
No,
USA finally realized what tennis was.
Oh, geez. Pretty much. No, I just to kind of put a bow on it. I think that there are definitely too many cooks in the kitchen when it comes to AEW and their decisions that they're making for those relevant things.
Yeah. So. All right. Good stuff, y'all. Enjoyed that conversation. Let's go over to our 3 count. And this is just from comicbook.com, titled Every Major Pro Wrestling World Champion is Currently a Heel. Now, of course, this doesn't extend to the women's portion of it, but for most of the men, or all of the men, there is. So just to run down some of the names for your WWE Universal Champion, you got Roman Reigns. Your WWE Champion, you got Bobby Lashley. Your NXT Champion, you got Karrion Kross. Your AEW World Champion, Kenny Omega. Your Impact World Champion, Kenny Omega. Your Ring of Honor Champion, Rush. Your NWA World Heavyweight Champion, Nick Aldis. Your NXT UK Champion, Walter. And your MLW World Heavyweight Champion, Jacob Fatu. So I thought this would be pretty fun. First off, that is a lot.
Ospreay.
Oh, Ospreay. Yes, I'm sorry.
Ospreay.
I'm so sorry. Yes, Ospreay. Will Ospreay for New Japan. I'm sorry, I didn't scroll down far enough. You're right. Hey, don't be looking for another host soon, guys. All right.
He's the one who chooses the topics, and he doesn't scroll down far enough to read them all.
I know. Listen, I'm just, anyways. But yes, Will Ospreay. Okay, so just, I guess for a little fun, who would you think would be, and this is one of the questions they had posed, but I thought this would be cool to pose this to. Who do you think will maybe be the first of these heels to drop their title out of all the ones that we named? Now I know you guys might not be too familiar with Fatu, because I don't think you watch MLW. I know you know who he is, but I'm not saying you watch it. And Will Ospreay, I know Steve you would know, but with Michaels you don't. So I don't know. What I know you know.
I don't know who Will Ospreay.
I know you know. I preface this as the same way. I'm just saying you don't watch them on a regular basis. That's all I'm saying.
Well, you think I don't, but you don't know. You don't ask me any
shit.
questions,
Anyway.
honey bunny. You never ask me how my day was, man.
My God.
It's always DJ's, oh, my day was tough, man. I had to watch Impact Wrestling and ROH, man, and those 2 hours of wrestling every week. Oh, man.
Oh, shut up. Anyway. All right. So what would you guys think? Out of all the heels, and these are some fascinating heels that are dominating the wrestling world, who will be the first you think will lose that belt? Sin City.
Nick Aldis.
Nick, huh? For real?
Yeah, I think so. And here's why, is I think that, so obviously the NWA is just getting everything kind of restarted. It wouldn't surprise me. According to the wonderful tracker here on comicbook.com, Nick Aldis has held the NWA World's Heavyweight Championship for 921 days. Wow.
Yeah.
Which that's a long ass time.
Right.
Now keep in mind, it wouldn't surprise me if it took a couple of months for that to happen, or a couple of big shows for that to happen. But I could see, NWA taking this kind of, the break that they took, and almost like a season break for TV, something to that effect, kind of starting a new chapter. So that would be what I would think would be Aldis. Either that, or let's be real, you could go with Lashley losing at WrestleMania Backlash.
I think that's what Michaels is going to say. What was you going to say? Michaels was going to be the one. I think that's what you're going to say, right?
Actually, I'm going to go out of left field with this specific theory.
Okay.
If Impact is smart and he does officially become part of the roster, Omega drops the belt to Samoa Joe at that pay-per-view when the 90 days is up.
Wow. That's good. I like how you think.
I'd be cool with seeing it, man. I would love to see Omega versus Joe, regardless of the outcome of the match.
Right. Yeah.
And it would do something that is very important. Impact needs desperately to push the reset button.
Mm-hmm.
They really do, because you just let your heavyweight championship go away.
Yeah.
So when you bring the title back, give it to someone that fans are going to want to see. There is a hunger for Joe. And that would be a win-win situation, especially if AEW still has a working relationship with them and Joe shows up on AEW's programming to, either set that up, or once he's won it, to do some one-offs, just to kind of tie things together.
Yeah.
But see, I don't understand why you would take the belt off of Lashley right now. All right.
Yeah, I agree.
You literally just had him win at WrestleMania. He's only had the belt for fucking 3 months. Keep it on him a little more. Get some usage. If you're gonna have him ditch it at SummerSlam. Make it a big moment, right? Roman, listen, he can lose the belt, but it has to be lost without him losing the belt.
Right.
So that's a bigger scenario. That's a little more of a headache. I don't think you'll see that necessarily happening. And I don't think Omega loses the AEW belt, because that would just make no sense to have him as the Impact champion, but not the AEW. And as far as Aldis, the other thing I think is Aldis could very well drop it if, in fact, if Mickey signs with Impact, then you could see Aldis potentially go to Impact. And so he might drop it for that reasoning. And Jacob Fatu, if MLW is smart right now, because you just started back up on, started with a Vice, don't have him drop the title yet. Establish him, because he is phenomenal. And by the way, talking about MLW talent swaps, if you might want to bring someone who could sit at the head of the table at some point, the MLW heavyweight champion against the SmackDown champion.
Oh man.
Bingo.
Oh boy. I love it. We're gonna get you in that writer's chair, man. I don't know how we're gonna do it, but we're gonna get you in that room.
Last thing I want is to have you want to see me break down quick and go to a nut house, have me work for Vince McMahon for 3 months, and I'd be fucking. I don't think I can keep 24-hour days, dude.
Right. Oh man. All right. Well, good stuff, man. All of the heels, man, and these are all great heels too. Now, when you think about it, that is keeping the wrestling world entertained. I mean, these are, I didn't even recognize it until they broke it down.
The only other one that also could potentially happen would be if none of those other belts are moving and they want to call Cross up, then you'll see the title off of Cross and probably go to a face at that, at that time. And you can also see that they're they're trying. NXT is the one company that's definitely trying to build those faces like Kyle and like Bronson, to that point, Loomis, so that at any moment they can switch parts, moving parts like that. So that's a very possible consideration as well.
Well, I'll tell you this. You know what's funny? Chris said sit Michaels in between Kevin Dunn and Bruce Pritchard and wait. That's what I want to see.
So basically, it's going to go very much like this. Bruce, what do you think about that?
And pass it over.
I love you. Kevin, what do you think? You know, back in 1973, we did that. That sounds fucking excellent.
Oh, man, that's awesome. All right, guys. Well, thank you. That is our 3-count show for there. So we appreciate you for listening. Let's just give some of our final thoughts for the rest of the week. So I'll go over to you, Sin City. What do you want to tell the good folks who are listening to us tonight?
Definitely. Thank you guys for hanging out with us tonight. Thank you for liking, sharing, subscribing, all the kind of fun stuff that you do. We really do truly appreciate everything that you guys do for us. Also, special shout out to all of the brave men and women that serve this great country on lands both foreign and domestic.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for doing what you do. And without you, we wouldn't be able to do this. So thank you. Last but certainly not least, repsports.com, reppsports.com. Go there for all your pre-workout, weight loss, and energy drink needs. Repsports.com. Use promo code Vegas at checkout. Save yourself 15%.
Absolutely. Matt Michaels.
Hey, just letting people know that Simon Street, like DJ said, has not been able to join us for these 2 episodes of Wrestling Talk and 3-count. Let's put the rest anyone's questions or it's nothing that is wrong with him or anything like that. We do though want to send our thoughts and our appreciations for circumstances that he's dealing with that a lot of us either have or will have to deal with at some point in our life. And I don't want to air his stuff publicly, but I want you all to just keep his family in his thoughts in just moving forward into a new phase for what his family is currently going through. And again, it's nothing concerning or life-threatening or anything like that, but it's definitely new responsibilities and challenges. And no, I'll squash the rumors right now. He did not get married again. So that one's out. It's not that.
Damn it. I lost the bet.
And he did not, DJ, he did not knock anyone up. So you lost that one.
I lost the bet. All right. Oh, my goodness. Well, that's what we are. When you're in Vegas, you take a lot of bets and you win some and you lose a lot more.
Especially if you go on that wedding chapel bet, because that's the biggest gamble of all out here, guys.
Right. Oh, man. All right, y'all. Well, good stuff. Thank you for listening. Thank you for supporting. Let people know about the Vegas Bad Boys. And we definitely appreciate it. You always can donate to us. We appreciate that as well. It's our what is it? The what chat?
Cash App.
Cash App. Yes, the Cash App. Man, I'm trying to mix in Snapchat with Cash App. I'm like, it ain't that. Thank you. The Cash App.
So you've got a Snatch App.
Hello.
Easy. But yeah, the Cash App. Vegas Bad Boys with a Z. And feel free to send in anything. We use that to help promote our programming out into the world of social media. All right, so thank you for listening, and we will see you. Don't forget Wednesday, the DeFalco Files. It's always enjoyable. You want to listen to that. Always good stuff. And as we're opening back up, a lot of things is going to be happening. So please, please, please listen to the DeFalco Files on Wednesday. All right. And with that, we will see you next week.